Last time on Dungeons, Drive-Ins, and Dice, a Delta Dawn adventure.
All of a sudden, your communications and lights in the hull go down. The communications begin static. A distorted voice comes over.
Bring home the golden dragon.
And it repeats that message 3 times before the static cuts out and your engine kicks back on as if you turned the key on. The turbulence causes you just to fully submerge BBW into the hologram. Inside of this hologram, there is a extremely dense electromagnetic storm centered around a big glowing metallic rock. You get that image, and then your systems shut down entirely. The rock inside of there is just a very high value mineral. Delta 8.
I'm on the trajectory of potentially the biggest motherlode in the history of the company.
You hover over a small settlement. You throw down the communication line, and it rings for like 90 seconds before it's picked up.
Hail and well met. My name is Grubbins.
People call me Chutch. And he reaches a hand out to shake your hand, and his arm is just coated in silver dust.
We load it up on the cart, we go on in.
I'm gonna stay with the ship.
You read that the miners here do not mine by hand because it is pointless. His arms should not be full coated in this silver dust.
I'm saying I think you're a space pirate.
Carl, after a few minutes of keeping a lookout, you see a band of 3 grays go to enter into the warehouse. They have like combat leathers on, and they all have weird jump together space weapons.
And then I want to wait a couple minutes before probably following them in.
Carl, as you reach the door, you hear the sound of a gunshot, and then a bullet hits the metal wall next to you. You 3 hear footsteps coming down the ramp.
I'm gonna put myself right next to the door with my hard light blade out.
I think I'm gonna grab Chutch and I'm gonna put my knife through his throat and I'm gonna say, don't you move.
I'm gonna crawl to the ceiling and keep my lasers ready.
And now we return to our adventure.
I think with there having been action taken, I'm going to start with Carl. Carl, you reached a tentacle up to open the side of this warehouse up to follow in these 3 greylings, who are all armed to the teeth. And a bullet slapped into the side of this metal building, and you turned around and just saw Isla dipping back behind some rubble of that destroyed housing building. What do you do?
Does the warehouse have like security on this door that I can see, or is it just a door I can open and go through?
It is just a door. It is just a door you can open and go through. Should you not get shot?
I feel like if this bitch is hiding behind cover, then I've got a couple seconds. I can speedily just run through this damn door.
Yeah,
that's my
That's
first
a little
instinct.
risky, though.
Yeah, I mean, if your instinct is to get inside the warehouse, you could do like a defy danger. We'll probably call that speed base, so dexterity maybe.
Seems like a safer option than trying to approach her on her own terrain right now, where she has the advantage.
Yeah,
and also you guys don't yet know that there's a bunch of armed people heading in, right? So
yeah, as far as you're aware.
I'm going to make a run for the door by trying to dodge the bullet as fast as possible.
Give me that defy danger dexterity.
That is a 10 plus 2. That's a 12.
You do that. You begin running forward as if you're going to just run for this door, and you bait out a shot from her, and you do a little octopus roll where you just kind of drop onto your head and roll your legs over your head. Yeah. Dodging the bullet and making it to the door, you slam it open and duck in behind it as another bullet hits the metal outside, and you slam it shut behind you. Looking around this room,
on this side?
There is a lock on this side, yes.
Put the deadbolt on.
Yeah. It's like one of those big, you turn the thing and it sets 2 metal bars across the kind of door. You rotate that and lock it into place. You find yourself in a room. It's not really furnished. There's like lockers along the wall. and a big hole. Most of this warehouse is just this giant hole in the ground that they like. This is to house the hole, basically. And there is a cut into the ground spiral going down into darkness. The other three of you are in this. So like almost like an employee break room, but it has been used to store, or at least for the moment, a lot of this mining equipment. And you three, Cookie has Chutch by sort of like from behind with a knife to his throat. Wally ended up on the ceiling with guns pointed at the door. That was pretty sweet. And Slippy was hiding on one side of the door, weapons prepared in case they came through the door.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Like a stealth expert. You three hear these footsteps come down this stone spiral, and you hear muffled voices exchanging, there's like you might be able to make out like which way did he go? Where is he?
He's in here!
Is that what you do? Do you say that?
No, please.
No, I don't do that.
No. Okay. What do
I do like it as an action.
You do. I do like it as an action, yeah. Chutch is struggling, but I feel like Cookie has a hand over Chutch's mouth, because otherwise Chutch would just be kind of yelling. So I guess you do have a knife to his throat. Maybe it's a trust exercise.
Maybe we just kill Chutch and take the thing for ourselves.
Okay, I've got a knife.
Hold
to
on,
his
let me
throat.
check. Let me check my alignment really quick, guys. Hold on.
None of you were bad.
I actually don't say anything, and I just want them to pass.
You got, Cookie.
So my
Not
action
feed
is
Chutch
wait.
I'm going to force feed Chutch both of my secret ingredients.
You're gonna just like spit up some loose eggs and then like put the pheromones on him and stuff them back into his mouth.
Yep.
No hiding the secret ingredient.
Nope. We've been betrayed.
I want to say that Wally looks at them,
Stuff
like
him in
his
there,
eyes
cover his
kind
nose
of
and
bulge
mouth.
out, like.
Oh,
This
they
was
zoom
familiar.
in a little bit. I like that. Let me look at my list of actions and see if there is any form of like Chutch fight here.
Does Chutch
I
not like
I have a
this?
plus
Does
one
Chutch like
in
it?
strength,
Hold
so
on.
I feel like
Does
this
this
is
unlock
something I'm
something for
capable of.
Chutch?
Does this unlock something for Chutch?
Sort of.
I don't think that there's a role for you to make on this. I think you have Chutch in a hostage position, and you just sort of jam some eggs into his mouth and cover his mouth up.
Good.
About this
So-
Chutch, but only a little bit.
Damn,
How long until I have children?
How long until you have children?
There is
10
a
months.
dice roll I can do for this.
That I've already written in there?
Yeah, it says they germinate for D6 days.
Okay,
So we have to define that.
define that. You just sort of have a hostage until they hatch.
Well, no, I can let him go after that.
You could let him go. He doesn't need to know what's
I
happening.
just have to make sure
Just
he
like
doesn't.
all of a sudden, the hive mind
Does
is
it
like,
matter if he
"We
dies?
are ready,
Like, all right, see you in
Mama,
a week.
Mama."
I think probably.
You think he's got to stay alive until they hatch?
Yeah, I don't
That's
think like you
horrible.
could just put them in like a carcass or something. You know what I mean?
No,
Well, we haven't
but
tried
he's
yet.
alive now.
He's alive now, but I
We'll
feel
see-
like the
let's see
difference
what the
between
days. We'll see what the days is.
see what the days is.
Ooh, 4.
4 days
4
of
days to
germination.
hatch. Okay.
This is not even something that Cookie knows, though. You know that they'll hatch sometime in the next
Mhm.
week, basically.
You know they'll hatch in the
Alright,
next D6
it's-
days.
A little Chutchling.
Has been defined. 4 days.
All right, so Chutch has eaten some eggs, and you folks remain in hiding, guns on the door. The footsteps seem to split up, and one set of footsteps is approaching the door, and you hear a pounding on the door, a big bang, 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 and they say, Chutch, you in there? And Chutch goes to do like a little groan, like a but feels the cold steel of Cookie, or the cold, I don't know, plasma of Cookie's nasty
If
knife.
you feel the plasma, it's not good.
Tapping on his
The
throat.
cold plasma.
And he second guesses that, not knowing that he's already dead in 4 days. What do you folks do? Is there a
Not
change
knowing
in?
that he's already dad in 4 days.
Is this the only exit? Is that door the only exit from this room?
Yes.
Okay. How large is the room?
I think
The room
having
is similar to like a break room. there it fits like a couple of those long tables. There's probably like a little counter built into the wall, like carved out of stone for them to like do projects on. Just like an employee break room. You imagine that this outfit is not huge, or outfit was not huge.
So,
Well, then I
Slippy,
think-
knowing kind of a little bit about the insect waifu, is going to sort of suss out that Chutch is sort of a numbered quantity at this point. So I think Slippy is going to draw his pistol, and he's going to say to Chutch, now that the outside person has passed a little bit, he's going to whisper and he's going to say, "All right, here's the deal, pal. Why don't you skedaddle onto your friends, and I'm gonna be tailing you for a little bit, and I'm a pretty good shot, and we're gonna let you go. We're gonna take the drill bit with us, and we're gonna get on out of here safe and sound. Does that sound all right to you? You can go and hang out with your friends again, and we can go ahead and boogie on out of here."
Oh, hey, there's a move for this.
Parlay.
Parlay.
Great.
we have-
Tell me what it is.
Got leverage on the character.
It
roll
is
plus charisma.
another parlay. Yeah, roll plus charisma.
That is a 10 charisma total.
Chutch nods vigorously. Do you let him go when he
Give him a thumbs up.
vigorously nods to this? Chutch sort of stumbles out of Cookie's grasp and
Cookie immediately retreats to the corner so that now everyone is out of sight of the doorway.
Okay. And Chutch sort of scrambles to his feet and looks around. His hand is on his... He has like a pistol holstered on his side this whole time that he was unable to draw before being taken hostage. And you see him like hesitate over it, and then he looks around at the three of you and the robot like in position on the ceiling, and he second guesses it. And he goes towards the door, and you see another moment of hesitation, and we cut to Ka'arl. Ka'arl, you are coming down this stone spiral.
Since it's like an inverted mountain, I'm kind of picturing, like a spiral that kind of, like stair spiral kind of.
Exactly. Yeah.
Can I see any of the grays that entered here ahead of me further down in the spiral? Because I have a rifle.
Why don't you give me a discern realities as you're like beginning your trek down this? It's really, really dark down here. I'll say that Chutch probably had some form of light source on him. And you have,
An old-timey lantern.
Yeah, an old-timey lantern. An old-timey plasma lantern.
Plus one, that's 8.
Is this a cold plasma?
That is 8 on discern realities. So you'll get one question from this list here.
What here is not what it appears to be.
I think as you begin your trek down this spiral staircase, you hear some voices echoing up. By the time you get into range of like maybe even understanding what they're saying, just down like another spiral, they have gone quiet, and you kind of hear footsteps split off into a few different directions as you come into close enough view to see the bottom of this, where this area would be. And you see the back of one of these grays. They are standing with they have a rifle in their hand. It looks like a shoddy like garage built rifle, and they are just sort of scanning left to right, watching this area. It seems to you as if they've been placed on guard. And
Gotcha.
they've stopped in a position to where you definitely notice them in guard.
Is there anywhere nearby for me to hide for the time being until they move, since they're standing still?
So
another locker, perhaps a room.
So yeah, you're I would say that like this happened like on the spiral staircase, so like you're peering down and you see their back. In order to get into a place of hiding in this room, you'll have to complete your trip down the spiral staircase, in which they might see you. You seem to be in a safe enough spot at the moment, like they are not facing you. But if you, I guess, if you were to fire off a gun and miss or whatnot, they would just look in your direction for sure. There's not really,
Okay.
You're just on this like, long spiral staircase down.
Okay. I'll probably try to crawl past them then. I think that's the game there.
Okay.
I'm very slimy. I won't make much noise.
Let's see if there's let's call it, we'll call it define danger, and I think still getting out of the way or acting fast. You're acting fast but stealthily
To get out of the way.
to get out of the way of
Fair.
the danger of this guard.
2, that's 9.
Stumble, hesitate, or flinch will offer you a worse outcome, hard bargain, or ugly choice. You drop down low as your octopus self can get, which is actually lower than, the average person, because you can kind of flatten yourself into a nasty octopus puddle. And you kind of puddle your way across the ground. You get down to this area unseen. So this guard is sort of scanning higher than you, not seeing this little octopus puddle on the ground. You're moving a bit slow, and by the time you make it to the ground, one of these other grays has entered back into the room and begun pounding on this door, shouting, Chutch, are you in there? So there is now a person in front of, at least, you don't actually necessarily know really where they are, so you're just kind of in this place. But you have this guard who's just kind of scanning over the room. You have this dude, this specific gray, who is directly in front of a wooden door, and then you have a few paths leading off. And then another wooden door. 3 paths leading off into darkness, and then another separate wooden door not being banged on.
Okay. Is this room well lit?
No,
Or is
it's
there,
actually
like, areas of shadow because of the spiral
so
staircase?
there is areas of shadow down here because of the spiral staircase. There's not a ton of light coming in. The light that is there, though, is actually coming out from under the crack in that door that the dude is banging on.
Gotcha.
That's where I would say probably most of the light in this room is actually coming from.
Okay, so I think how I'll kind of probably end my little segment, I want to, like, scooch my puddle up kind of against the wall like Kronk in Emperor's New Groove, but in an actually shadowy place, and hope that no one can see me while they're banging on the door so that I can kind of jump out and strike if need be.
If need be. All right, you pull up on the wall. You 3 in this room. This guy has banged on the door, and Slippy has leaned in and made this promise to Chutch. Chutch opens the door a crack and peeks his head out, and he says, "Yeah, I'm here, Mikey." And this big gray looks down at him, big like wide muscular gray, and says, why didn't you answer us when we came down? And Chutch looks a little nervous, and he says, I was taking a nap. I don't need to be questioned by you. We're getting out of here, Mikey. Mikey asks if he was able to get any of the Irinia, and Chutch says, no, this stuff is useless, and he shows off his silvery hands, and he's like, we gotta get out of here. It's time for us to dip. And the gray questions him a little bit about this ship outside, and he says, I think that there might be some outsiders here. You seen anything here? Judge is like, no, there's no one here besides us. You know that, Mikey. And Mikey looks at him quizzically, and all of a sudden, Mikey grabs Chutch by the shoulders and throws him out into the this open area that splits off, and he kicks open the door. I mean,
And
first
I shoot him.
you shoot him. Give me a volley.
Non-lethally.
I shoot him in the knees. That's an 11 before I even check what my modifier is.
This dude kicks open the door and puts his foot down and begins to step into the room. It looks like his focus is on this robot hanging on the ceiling, and you just cap him in one of the knees.
Yeah, literally as soon as that first foot is through the door, it's just...
Roll your damage. Whatever that damage
5.
dice was. 5. Lit. You blast him in the knee, and you see a spray of blood come out the other side. You hear, ah!
What color's the blood?
Blue.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's like they're aliens.
Whoa.
Is it just
Space
this
is
one
wild.
There is, so behind this one dude, there is another person with a rifle. And I think you're hiding back in the corner.
Yep.
Are you like in the back corner of the room and like shadowy, or are you like in the front corner,
Shadowy.
like in the shadowy? So
Yeah.
I'd say that you can see beyond this person and see that person on the outside. They're like, I mean, they're walking over with their gun now that someone has been shot.
I'm gonna signal to Slippy. I'm gonna try and help or aid Slippy in his next shot.
Oh, like aid
By, like,
Slippy with getting this other
I'm just
dude?
gonna signal where this dude is at and that
Okay.
he's coming.
Okay, give me an aid roll. And do you have any bonds with Slippy?
One more. I
Oh,
do
yeah, we
have a
do.
bond with Slippy.
Perfect. So add 1 to that.
That's a 10 then.
That would be 10. All right, Slippy, you see some motions in the shadows from Cookie.
You immediately understand my signals.
Yeah, explain that there's another dude approaching and
You
how
use
he's
our
approaching.
French sign language.
Mhm.
You use our specific French sign
And
language. I understand.
BBW, I'd say that you can see this as well. You can see this person approaching from the outside of the door. Would you like to make a move on them?
Yes. I'd like to activate my tractor beam.
Oh.
What is your tractor? Remind us what your tractor beam does.
My machine attracts or repels small objects. Just about anything I can pick up, but nothing as heavy as a person. So I just want to snatch his rifle.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god!
I really like that. I think that's fun. Okay, there's a roll for your thing. I'm not 100% sure what it is.
Disarm.
Yeah, roll plus intelligence.
That's a solid 12.
Wow, you guys are rolling heavy today. Operation run smoothly and maybe run again. Cool. So one of your little tentacles reaches out and fires off a tractor beam, and the gray sees this tractor beam coming and puts his rifle up to like block himself, falling right into your trap card, and the rifle comes flinging out of his hand and kind of tumbles across the ground into the room with you guys. Chutch gets up. He's Carl. Chutch is kind of nearby. This other gray that's been just tossed out of the room gets up and begins making a run for the spiral staircase. What do you do with this situation? Now you have
I have a rifle now.
Carl has 3 people in this room with you. You've got one in the doorway that's just been shot in the leg, one that just had his rifle flung from his hands, and Chutch, who has been tossed into the room, is now making a run for the stairs. None of them see you.
Shoot Chutch in his knee.
Yeah, I was about to say, would Chutch count as defenseless or surprised by any chance, since he's running away?
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't even know you're there. So 100% Chutch is defenseless and surprised. He's just terrified. He's trying to leave. He had stuff force-fed to him. He's just trying to get out of here.
I'm gonna shoot him in the knee with a cold shot.
Okay.
Sorry, buddy. I don't know who Chutch is. Like,
You
as
don't.
my character, I don't know that he's not in on it.
You definitely
He's not
don't.
gonna break for it.
That's very fair.
9 with the cold shot, so that's with legs, they're hobbled and slow moving.
Okay. What is so 9 is not perfect. Is there legs?
I don't get to add damage, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
They
So you
hobbled
just hobbled them. Nice. Okay. So yeah,
it didn't hurt. I just destroyed his kneecaps.
You just destroyed his knee. Yeah, you shoot Chutch in the leg, and I think that what kind of gun are you using here?
I'm using the rifle. It's
energy rifle.
It's got a couple of things on it. I'm not positive what mean. I was just looking back at our Facebook conversations. I could remember. It's got like precise.
Yeah, so medium far range. I'll say in here, because you're pretty close range. I'll say it results in like a -1 total to the shot, but that still doesn't change like the way where you're at. You just shoot Chutch in the knee as he reaches the stairs, and he drops and he moans loudly. Ah! What is going on? And the dude in the room with you and Chutch that just had his rifle pulled from his hands notices you, and they draw a large like energy blade and begin approaching you. Back in
Who does? Which one does?
The one that had the rifle ripped from their hands.
Gotcha.
They turn and see you and draw a knife.
Cool.
This dude in the room, he begins to step into the room and he brandishes 2. He's got one. He already had like a thick energy pistol in one hand, and he draws another one and begins pointing them around the room.
Wait, this is another guy?
This
Not
is
the guy we already kneecapped?
This is the guy you kneecapped.
The guy you kneecapped is...
You shot him in the kneecap. He does not go down to one knee.
Oh.
He's standing on his gross knee. And he's not like he's kind of like hobbled forward into the room, and he's looking around the room. I think what he notices first is BBW and Slippy, who has shot him in the knee. I don't think that he is making any signs of having noticed Cookie. What do you 3 do?
Shoot him in his other knee.
And a cap.
He must go down. That is another 10.
Roll me damage.
Only
That's so mean.
4 damage to this kneecap.
4 damage to this kneecap. Your next shot goes off, and he drops to his knees in a painful yell, and one of his guns comes tumbling out of his hands and slides across the floor.
Does he still have another gun?
He does have a gun in one hand.
Okay. Is he
Can
falling
I-
on his face?
No, he's just
Somebody
kind of
needs
dropped
to
down
kick
to
that
his
gun
knees.
back at him to knock the other gun out of his hands.
Knock the gun out of his hands with the other gun.
Is he facing away from Cookie?
No, he's like facing into the room. So I would imagine that he
Yeah,
hasn't
take the
noticed
gun
you
back,
because
Cookie.
you've still done well at like hiding your presence. But if you make a move, basically he'll notice you.
Kick the gun back. The friendship alley-oop.
Kick the gun to knock the other gun out of his hand?
You just shoot his
Put
other
a gun
hand.
with gun. You know what they say.
Fight gun with gun.
I'm sort of behind him. So I think I'm going to run up and bonk him on the head with the walk.
All right, roll hack and slash, which is plus strength.
That's a 12.
Yeah, see, you deal your damage to the enemy and avoid their attack. At your option, you may choose to do plus 1d6 damage, but expose yourself to an attack.
No.
No. All right, roll your damage, which is a d8.
5.
So he drops to his knees with a moan of pain as he kind of falls to them, and his weight on his knees. And Cookie runs up and slams a walk into his head, and he kind of sees stars for a second and drops onto his face.
I immediately feed him my secret ingredients.
And then you feed him yours. How many eggs you got today? You can create 1d2 per day. Yeah, I'll give you a second.
Yeah,
egg.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you do have to, you want to use this on this kneecapless guy? I don't know if he's going to make it.
How's he looking?
Unconscious.
But, like, dying?
I don't know that there's much of a difference between unconscious bleeding and not dying and unconscious bleeding and dying. He's bleeding from 2 leg wounds and probably has a concussion at the minimum.
I don't care about the concussion. Yeah, I'll hold off. We'll see what happens with this third guy.
You could provide medical attention to him just so that you could know that he'll survive long enough.
That's a great idea.
You have other enemies, though, still alive.
Not in here. I don't
Sure.
know that. There's Carl's enemies.
While he's debating on whether he wants to feed this unconscious body
Gotta figure out how
the stuff, BBW, you can see through the open doorway, and you see this other guy who's had you've taken his rifle from him. It's laying on the ground below you now, and he is brandishing a knife. They're brandishing a knife facing off out of view and beginning to advance that way. You see Chutch, who has been shot from out of view. He's dropped to the ground and is sort of like trying to crawl his way up the stairs.
It'll be a minute.
He just wants out.
I want to crawl a little closer then on the ceiling, and I want to take the guy's knife too. Taking everything.
All right, give me a roll plus intelligence.
Use the bandits now, motherfucker.
I don't have a move.
It's me.
For
That's a
rendering medical
17.
aid.
Bandit protocol activate.
What'd you say that was?
17.
No. It said 2d6 plus intelligence.
2d6?
Yeah.
2d6?
It's all 2d6 this whole game, basically.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Almost never will you. I don't think you actually will ever need a d20 for this game.
Oh. I've been rolling d20s the whole time.
Oh, that changes things immensely.
I love it.
Too late now.
That's 10 then.
Total
Not
success.
17.
Oh my god, this dude brandishes his knife, and Carl, you see a tractor beam come through this doorway, and his knife just whoops out of his fucking hands.
They got like an MRI in there.
He's
Things
getting
flying
really
through.
frustrated, and I think what he's gonna do is actually jump after his knife. He's gonna like jump after his knife that's flopping on the ground and into the room. Carl, what do? Your enemy has just dove basically to the left to dive after his own knife.
So the one that's jumping through the air, is he still in the air or has he landed?
I mean, we can bullet time
What's
it. We can,
my view of this guy? I want to know if I can shoot him in the head.
we can bullet time it. You can say we can say that like you take your action while he's diving for his knife.
Yeah. I'm gonna aim for. Can I even see his head? The thing is, if he's diving forward, I assume away from me. I assume his head's kind of out of sight.
You
So
could
I don't want to.
I think that he's just sort of diving to the side. You could probably see his knees.
You can definitely see his butt.
You could see his
What's
butt.
the?
But I think
The
I mean
ones
I,
that-
Notoriously non-lethal.
What are the other ones holding right now? What are their current armed weapons?
no. So no one in this room is actually armed at the moment. One of them is unconscious and on the ground. One of them is Chutch, who is attempting to crawl up the spiral staircase after you shot him in the knee, and the other one has had both of his weapons yanked from his fucking hands.
I thought there were 3 grays. That was
There.
where I
So
was
3 grays did come down into here. You are correct. You just only see these. Well, okay, so you know 3 grays came down in, and you see 3 grays in here. I don't. Does Kaarl recognize Chutch as being the dude that came to pick up the drill bit?
Probably because Chutch. We saw Chutch outside the warehouse, right?
Exactly. Yeah, he came. He
Yeah,
came out
absolutely.
to. Okay, so then you would, I think, be able to know that the third person that came in here is not present at the moment.
Okay. And we took no note of this person whenever they vanished.
Yeah, no, not
When,
so. No, yeah, no
uh,
one was looking. No one was like directly watching when these 3 dudes entered when these 3 people entered the room. So the third person theoretically is just off checking out the tunnels.
Okay. I guess I'm gonna try to aim for the Gray's head like as he lands. Like if he like combat rolls, just waiting for that head to pop
Yeah,
up.
I think that he's just sort of diving to the side. So I think you got a shot on him.
8 plus 2, that's a 10. So
You
that's
got, oh my lord.
they do nothing but stand and drool for a few moments, and also I do damage.
Yeah.
Which I rolled a 10 on.
Oh, we're in close range. We do need to remember we're going to -1. So no damage, unfortunately. But you blast him in the head because we're going to -1, leading it to 9. They do nothing but stand and drool. So you still blast him. And so it's like as he hits the ground, he's like blasted in the head. And you hear like he kind of crumples up into a ball. And you hear like a from in that ball. As
That
if
one's
like,
also a concussion.
yeah, like a concussive strike to his head, basically. The folks you in the room have seen this bullet blast into the side of this dude, as well as you've seen the bullet blast into Chutch's leg. What do you 3 do? I don't think you haven't seen Kaarl yet.
I'm sneaky.
So we do
I'm still
see this
cronked
dude go
up
down?
against the wall. I just
Yeah,
keep,
you
like...
see this guy go down in
I'm
the
gonna
door.
go check
in the
on this
door
guy
frame.
then.
You're gonna go
let's
check
see.
on this guy.
Yeah, how's this guy doing? Does he look like less dying?
He does look definitely less dying.
I feed him my
He's
secret
just
ingredients.
sort of crumpled in a. All right. So you give me
this
your
pulse?
D6 roll
Yeah.
for
Take it,
your
take it.
I'm an insect.
germination. Just how long, just in case, so that we mark that
Oh, I know. I wrote it down. 4 days.
for this guy too.
I
4
just sort
days?
of figured we would just roll it, and that's how long my eggs take to germinate. Do we want to roll it every time?
Yeah,
All right.
that because some of them may hatch faster. You may get back up tomorrow if you do it right. Versus in a week.
That's a 4.
Another 4. All right. Okay, so yes, Kaarl, you see Cookie come out of the door and feed this groaning gray some small things from her hand. She just sort of jams her hand up against his mouth and rubs it in there. And now you know that this is Cookie, and I'll say that even with that, because
Does Cookie see Carl when I'm in close enough range to be doing this to this dude?
yeah, I mean, I'll say that yeah, with everything that's been going on, Kaarl is like half in shadow and half out of shadow with the gun out.
Cool. I make direct eye contact with Carl, and I say, "We have much to discuss."
As you feed,
Maybe
Mhm.
when you're done eating.
maybe when you're.
Oh, I'm not eating.
Could I eat?
I don't know if you can.
We've been trying to.
Me
We're gonna get to
neither.
the bottom of this. Do you want to try to eat this person, or some of the eggs
Well-
from Cookie?
I don't
Well,
have
if it's
any more.
considered food, I'm not sure what all is considered food.
I
but-
think if anyone could prepare you something considered food, it would be the team cook.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a
BBW
crack
will
at
try
it, just
anything
not
once.
right now.
Hell yeah, that's a good attitude to have. So as Cookie is making eye contact with Kaarl and feeding this gray, The eggs, Cookie hears a scuffle, not like a fight scuffle, but just like foot scuffling against rock down one of the tunnels and looks up as a gun goes off. Cookie, give me a defy danger, dexterity, or strength, or constitution. Depends on how you want to deal with this. You just want to take it. You hear a gunshot and you see flash.
Strength it is.
Strength it is.
Ooh, that is a 4.
That is a 4. Mark 1 experience. And Cookie is absolutely rocked by a pretty wide blast that comes from one of these tunnels. How much armor do you have, Cookie?
2.
2? Then you take 5 points of damage.
Yikes.
As you are just rocked. And I'll say that you're like blasted off your feet. They're a little close to you. Carl, you see that this person has like almost like a buckshot, and they have just blasted Cookie off their feet. You two in the room, you see Cookie basically go fly. Like Cookie leans down and feeds some eggs to this dude, and then just you hear a loud gunshot, and Cookie goes fucking flying into the wall that my hand just hit. Let's do Carl first. You see this happen like most directly in front of you. What do you do, Carl?
At this range, I'm tempted to switch to my staff, but also he has a big gun, and I can specifically make people drop what they're holding if I shoot them in the arm.
That's true. That's
So
true.
It's also tempting to do a called shot for the 3rd time. That gun looks very dangerous.
You got
it
a
looked
minus.
like it hurt.
It did.
All right, so with a -1, right?
Yes. If you're doing called shot.
Oh fuck yeah! That's a 12 plus 2 from charisma or from Dex is a 14, so 13.
Yeah, you
Eat it, D6.
fire off, and that does damage as well too with called shot at 14 or higher. So roll that as well.
That is a 9.
9. Wow, that's good damage. You shoot this gray that's just stepped out of a tunnel, we'll say on the other side of the room, and they kind of go stumbling back into the dark of the tunnel, but they drop their buckshot gun on the ground. BBW, Slippy, you hear these gunshots kind of come off from the room out. What do you do?
I'm a little scared. What was that?
I'm probably going to.
Oh, no.
Let me look at some basic moves. I forgot.
Well, Cookie just tried to give me food for the first time. I want to kind of crawl over and try to give first aid, given that you're hurt or something.
Okay, yeah. You crawl your way down from the ceiling and out the door over to Cookie to give first aid.
Then I'm going to leave the room and probably stealth away.
Yeah,
Let me see.
Upon exiting the room, you see what BBW leaning over Cookie, who is in a heap on the ground. You see Carl, who has just shot back at the offender, and you see Chutch still just fucking like arm over arm, army crawling up the stairs.
I'm gonna go take a hostage actually then.
You're gonna pick up Chutch?
Yeah, I'm gonna go stand by Chutch and I'm gonna point my pistol at him. I'm gonna say, "Hey, do you want to parlay?"
Chutch just sort of moans and stops crawling. He said, "But you said I could leave. I'm trying to leave."
I'll let. That wasn't part of the deal. That wasn't part of the deal. The deal was we all could leave, and that hasn't happened yet, has it, Chutch?
I'm trying to leave. He cries. There is no response for a brief moment. I think that BBW, you have a first aid machine, don't you? Yeah, roll plus intelligence on that for using that on Cookie.
I probably have like a meal
12.
I can do that does that. But
What does the first aid specifically do for Cookie?
Heal an area for 1d8.
1d8. All right.
I heal you for 5 points.
Hey, back to full.
That was the damage that you took from the buckshot. So minus the scare, you are Okay, and you sit back up, having fit. I feel like it was Buckshot that probably broke the skin in several places, and Cookie has just come, or Wally has just come over and just like little lasered them shut painlessly. So you're not bleeding anymore, and you've healed up a bit. There's a little bit of quiet, and the gray that had just Buckshot Cookie steps out, hands up, and looks around at their allies on the ground and in the room and says, "Look, I don't want any more lives to be lost here. Let me just take my Chutch and go."
Give me your shoes.
Give you my shoes?
Parlay, roll charisma.
Why would I give you my shoes?
I need it as an insurance that we're gonna get out of here this time. No one would fight somebody without shoes on.
So if I give you shoes, you're
Shoes
going to
for
let
Chutch
me take
and safe
Chutch
passage.
out of here.
You can even have this one.
We'll take the one
You
on the
can have them
ground
all.
too.
You can have them all, but I want your shoes.
My shoes, and I can take my crew out of here.
Shoes for friends seems
Shoes
like
for
quite
crews.
the deal.
That's correct.
They squint their eyes and they look at you all and they start kicking off their shoes. And they come forward slowly and they pick up their guy on the off the ground who's still moaning. He just got concussed. They look at the other one who
Shut those guys
doesn't
out,
seem
too.
to be breathing, and then they hobble their buddy to the stairs and sort of, like, excuse me, pardon me, past you, and pick up Chutch on the ground who's moaning just like a child the whole time. And they all hobble together up the grand staircase slowly and out of sight. And the four of you find yourselves now alone in the mine.
All right. So who wants to become miners? Because we've got the bit now.
This is our mine now.
There's no one else here. We can give it at least one go.
I don't know how to mine.
Me
I
neither.
can try. Is there a vein nearby on a wall or anything that I can see that looks remotely mineable?
Not actually from this main room, no. Peeking
Also,
around.
I assume the bit is like attached to a machine.
Peeking around, you folks get the ideas that like these tunnels probably were the beginning of those veins, right? Like you, in order to find where they were mining last, you'll have to trek off down these tunnels with a prepared drill. There's still another wooden door you folks have not opened, and then all of the. So you, like I said, in the employee break room, there's no machine yet that seems to fit this big ass drill head that you guys brought in on your cart. All that are in there are like 20 different handheld like crank drills that would require a smaller drill head than the one, and are all bit busted to shit.
Never mind. Never mind. That seems like too much work. Let's just sell it. Does anybody have any black market connections?
Not a one. Also, our whole job was to deliver it, and we've done that. So why don't we just get
If only
paid?
Carissa was here. Carissa has tons of black market connections.
Were we supposed to get
delivered it
paid here or there?
Chutch,
Because that depends
and
on
then
whether
drove
we
him off.
Mine.
That's true. That's true. You did
It
deliver
turned
it to
out
the
that
mine.
Chutch was not actually the intended recipient, so we prevented a burglary.
So who was the
Really, we
intended
went above and
recipient, though?
beyond and deserve a bonus.
Really, we
I
went
think
above and
probably the
beyond.
intended recipient is dead. I don't think they're alive anymore.
That's not our problem.
So who's gonna pay us?
I mean, you
is-
guys
is what
haven't-
I'm concerned about.
You also haven't looked at all.
I mean, let's open
true.
this. I'm gonna open this door. We'll open this other door. But also, we've delivered it, and the
No, I
miners
think
aren't
they're dead.
paying us. The ship is
You
paying us.
open the other door, and it is a storage closet with 10 miners all in there with like the cloth gags and like hands behind their back, all in like a little
Slowly
U,
close the door.
and they're all looking up at you like terrified.
No, I don't see any miners yet.
And I close the door.
are-
No miners
These are all
here.
full-grown adults.
That's pretty funny.
I think we walked into the
Uh,
wrong party.
Thanks.
Well, we
Hey,
we
do you
brought
guys
your
want
drill.
a drill bit?
Who's in
Uh,
charge of drill bits around here? Is it you?
Muffled
Just point.
muffled screams sort of come from around the room.
Oh, sorry. And I go to help them.
Yeah, I
get
turn around.
untied.
I turn around and walk away. I say, "Not even a thank you."
Not even a thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't saved them yet.
We're in the process of saving them, and we
Slippy's-
also
Slippy's on it.
definitely did because we
Slippy's
drove
on it,
off
don't worry.
the
These guys could be our personal crew
The
members.
Chutches.
We
If
just take
you
them back to
would
the-
have left
to the ship.
without finding them, they still die. You have not saved them yet. Also, they're gagged.
I mean, the other people are fixing that. Slippy's gonna go do something about that.
I'm picking them up right now. I'm
Mhm.
helping them to their feet.
Hell
Just trying to
yeah.
get the
I have more
adventure
important things
going.
to do.
The
Slippy's neutral. He just wants to pass unnoticed.
I'm a forage.
well, forge around in these mines, see what you can find
Mhm.
while they're letting the folks go.
Because I have some people in need to feed.
You sure do. The miners, after you turned around from them. Ooh, I got
That's very funny.
Mhm.
Um,
I'm a fun mixture of friendly and entirely alien.
so Slippy comes and
Well, that's
begins
experience.
helping them all up and untying them and ungagging them, and they all come out and they're very thankful. And the head miner mentions that they've been holed up in there for several days after they had sent out the requests for more drill bits, partying a little bit, and then all of a sudden these thieves came out of nowhere. Idiots, says the mine captain, as they didn't actually know how to do any of the mining, and they definitely ruined many of our veins trying to mine it by hand.
Wow.
And he checks the main drill bit. He presses a button on the back of this big ass drill bit you have brought in, and it opens up, and it's just like a little drill bit chest that's filled with a bunch of smaller drill bits for these hand drills. He nods approvingly and says, "This is perfect. Is there a form I can sign?" And you hand him the form, and it says Chutch on the form. He rolls his eyes.
Just sign around it.
He rolls his eyes and signs his name above Chutch's name. And invites you guys to share a meal with him. He says, "We don't have a lot, and we're also not great cooks, but we have fun here."
I like to have fun. Marissa used to like to have fun
Describe
too.
how you get these ingredients, and the GM will tell you what they are.
You get on a failure.
I still get one of either of them, but I have to be prepared for the worst. But first, I have to tell you how I go about it. And I go about it by finding like a hole and squeezing partway into it. I'm looking for like fungus or something like that. I'm looking for,
Alright.
for cave stuff.
So you trek off down one of these tunnels while they're all getting freed, just like peeking around looking for the underground mushrooms and mosses and such. And you find a crack in the wall that's not altogether so tight, and you see some like mosses growing on the other side of that rock, and you squeeze yourself through. About halfway, you realize that you are pretty stuck in this like crack. You can fit like basically half your body. It's like your chest plate is like keeping it from
Oh
it
no,
has
my
no give with
thorax.
the chitin basically. You can like peer your head around. There's like a smaller chamber on the other side of this crack, and you see some mushrooms
The gourmet
growing.
ingredient is what I'm picking.
Gourmet ingredient. You see some mushrooms growing, but you see these mushrooms in a light that you are not producing. There is a faint light coming from one of the walls basically, and on the other side of this room it's just sort of kind of shimmering through some cracks. With one final push, you feel your chitin scrape against this rock and you force yourself through. Not actually sure if you can get back through, but you find yourself in a small-ish little stone, like natural stone room. There are mushrooms growing up along like little shelves on the walls, and the opposing wall from where you entered is sort of shimmering through some cracks. What do you do?
Well, first, we'll gather all the mushrooms.
You gather one mushroom.
At least enough to cook with, so probably a good most of them.
This is an Arinian spore, because that's where we are.
Neat. Do we have comms?
No.
Well,
That'll be in the shops when you guys have money to spend.
then once I've gathered the mushrooms and ascertained that I am stuck, I'm just going to start rhythmically banging my walk on the cavern until someone comes and gets me.
You folks have helped free these miners. Ka'arl, you hear the faint sound of metal striking rock coming from down one of the tunnels as we'll say as maybe you untie one of the miners, like one of the last miners you help untie, and you can hear just some soft rhythmic metallic banging coming from down one of these tunnels.
As I take the cloth gag out, I'm gonna lean in and ask, like, you said that the mineral here is overly soft, so I take it that if we hear someone pickaxing, it's not one of you.
No, certainly not. We would not be striking anything in this mine. The mineral is very soft, and they vein across and throughout this rock like no one's business. And if you cause the wrong vibration in the wrong area, you can cause whole areas to come collapsing down.
Okay, then you definitely go the other way, and I'll go kill whatever that is.
And I think at that point is where the sound kind of comes over them, and they're like, "Who is out there trying to mine right now?" And they peek around the room, and he says, "No, we're all here. Do you think any of those bandits are left? You gonna go take care of those for us?"
You know.
Yeah, I'll go check it out.
We also, like, do you have a map of this facility? Because the bandits could be all throughout the facility. We assume we took out a bunch of them, but we already hear another one. Do you have like a map that we can just
No, it's
go
just
around
sort
and
of-
clear out the area for
It's
you?
just sort of these three main tunnels cutting off, and then we have our storeroom and our break room. It's not like they're not like interconnected or anything. We're just talking, these three tunnels.
Pretty small mine, easy enough to clear out for you. We'll take care of that.
BBW, these Slippy and Carl let you know that they're taking off to check out this rhythmic banging noise. But a lot of these miners have like some minor injuries that your first aid would be helpful on healing machine.
I'm gonna start dancing for them
To heal them or to entertain?
to entertain them.
Oh,
I figure it's been a long
Laughter's
time.
the
since
best
they had a-
medicine.
Yeah.
they appreciate your dancing.
I'm gonna start playing all these party toys. Like,
What? Yeah, I mean they kind of pay attention to you, but they're just trying to like get over having been held hostage. And they're going through their break room and like repiling all of the stuff back from their break room into their storage room. Slippy and Kaarl, you head off down one of these tunnels, and as you go down the tunnel, the clanging gets louder. You don't quite make it to the end before you find a crack in the wall. It's pretty thin, but I would say that even through that crack, you can see a little bit of glowing light, and you can see Cookie just sort of like haphazardly banging on the walls around Cookie with the walk. What do you do?
Hey, Cookie, what you doing in there?
Oh,
You're
thank
not trying to
goodness.
mine, are you? Because
Certainly
they
not.
told us not to.
I'm stuck.
So you started mining because you were stuck?
Yep, that's exactly why I did it. You got me. Now,
Yeah, I guess I would have got pretty bored too. Yeah, let me help you out real quick.
What do you do to help Cookie out?
I guess pull.
So this area, you guys could give that a shot. Cookie would just have to jam themselves back into the crack and have you guys attempt to pull Cookie out, if you would like.
How do you want to be rescued, Cookie?
What's best for you, Cookie?
how big is this little spot that I'm in?
The little like natural chamber you're in is like probably no bigger than like this office. 12 by 8.
Does the robot have any lasers?
I have a
Would we-
laser.
Would we be able to like
Here.
cut this hole a little larger? It was not fun
The
to squeeze
robots do
through
good dance.
through the first time, and I don't think it'd be more fun the second time.
Hang on, let me see what I've got in my inventory here.
Might have
I'm not a
cracked my
robot,
chitin
but
a
I,
little bit.
I'm pretty good at stuff. Yeah, nope. I can be useful by going and getting. Hold on, let me think really quick.
Yes.
Can I? Okay, I reach into my bag.
Okay.
And I pull out. Hang on, let me roll my 2d6 to see how it goes. Okay, I rolled a 7, so I don't have anything else, but I do pull out a pickaxe. And I start going to town on the hole.
I'm gonna call this, while we're not like doing it to give Cookie a bonus, I'm still gonna call it an aid roll.
That's fine. That is a 7 again.
a 7, you expose yourself to danger, retribution, or cost. Slippy brings the pickaxe out of his bag and begins hacking away at one of the edges of this crack. Slippy's able to hack off a sizable portion of this rock, but Slippy hits his pickaxe into the rock one last time and shaves off this sizable portion, and this chunk drops to the ground, opening up a hole large enough for Cookie just to walk on through, basically creating another little path into this room. However, when that chunk of rock hits the ground, you folks begin to feel the like ground and the walls around you rumble.
Cool.
Time to dip.
Hey, well, anyway, we got our mission, so let's get on out of here, everybody. And then the Scooby-Doo music plays, and Slippy starts running off in the distance.
Yeah, we'll at least run back to where everyone else is. Are things rumbling there?
Cookie steps out of this room, and you all go to take off down the hallway. Cookie, right as you go to run out of this space, that light from that room, you see like some of the wall kind of crack down and like pieces of the rock fall, and you see that light like get really bright, and then all of a sudden a bunch of the rocks like crumble over it. Dark kind of sweeps in from that spot, and the rocks begin kind of tumbling down first in that room, and you all book it down the hallway. I'd like all of you to give me defy danger dexterity this time, not by withstanding the damage.
8.
10.
8.
2 8s and a 10
7.
and a 7. You are all taken off down this path. Carl in front. We'll say that Wally is like in the room, like waving you folks on. Wally, you see Cookie and Slippy running down this hall after Carl has already come through into the room, and you see the hallway basically caving in on them. What do? You have a moment to attempt to affect this situation, BBW.
I want to shout, wait, the thing's caving in.
Yes.
Can they come back?
Correct.
No, so your friends are running out of the tunnel. This is more of a chance for you to help them, if there's a way that you can help them.
Well, I don't know how to help them. What can I do?
I don't. That's why I'm asking you.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't have a lot I could do. I can't really get them out there very well. I can.
I'll give you
them
first
my
aid
hands.
if you survive.
Do they need light? I can give them some light.
I can't see.
The two of you come careening out of this hallway as the rocks cave in to the mouth, basically taking out one of their 3 tunnels. The rocks, as they're like blasting down atop of you, hit you, Slippy and Cookie, for 3 points of damage, and the sort of blast radius of that, as well as it like hits and sprays out, also does the same to BBW. Which actually may not hurt BBW, because I think BBW has 3 armor. I don't know what Slippy has, but
1
armor.
How much damage?
That means that
3
just
total.
reduces the value flat, right?
Yes, just flat. So you're all blasted with some rocks, and the miners come forward, and the first one chastises you. What were you doing out there with a pickaxe? He sees the pickaxe in Slippy's hand.
I had to save my friend.
I was stuck in a hole.
Why were you in a hole?
Just you wait and see.
What?
Yep, and then I sit down and I cook my food.
And begin cooking. There's a fun time here. I think that these miners kind of pop open their moonshine and all begin enjoying themselves as Cookie is making a meal for everybody. Does anyone join in on the miners' moonshine?
Nope,
No.
I don't.
Nah.
I'm very busy cooking.
I only do hard drugs.
Okay.
Carl's not much of a drinker.
I don't know if I can drink.
Try it.
Do you have
Maybe
any
I'll be able to
goblin
try.
gas?
You want to give it a shot?
Cookie's very interested in seeing if the robot can drink.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I don't think there's a role for the robot attempting to drink. So
Depends on whether or not you as a GM decide he's able to, because otherwise I guess it would be defy danger
Defy
or no roll.
danger.
And if you defy the danger, you can drink.
Does robots
I like that. If you defy danger, you can drink. So give me a defy danger. We're gonna call it Constitution.
6. Sorry, 7. Another 7.
You slug back this glass of moonshine handed to you, and the miners are like, "This is strong stuff. Be careful." And
Robot.
BBW sort of shorts out as you drink this. We're at the end of the mission. I think the hesitation here is you feel like a bunch of your machines like spark off and kind of short out. So you lose access to a bunch of your, we'll say like light and your tractor beam kind of short out. But I think that BBW, you're like, I don't know, like where your eyes, I don't really know like what that would be for you as a robot. Your whatever you like see through gets a little like
Your
shimmery
optical
and
receptors.
like wavy a little bit.
This is a familiar feeling.
Oh,
What?
he doesn't remember, but I guess he's been drunk before. Give me this. Is there a cook roll, or do you just cook?
I did. I have a cook roll. I rolled a 9. So I get both of the effects that I've picked, but it introduces a complication to the party.
Okay, what are the 2 effects you picked?
I picked comforting. Anybody who eats this meal will feel more positively about you, even if they don't show it openly. And I picked thoughtful. Anybody who eats this meal feels an emotion you want them to feel. And I want them to feel grateful.
Grateful. Okay, so you cook them this meal.
It's my spite meal.
With the Iranian spore that you held private.
Spite.
And you cook everyone a big stew. What do you cook them? I don't want to tell you what you cook them with your mushrooms.
I'm thinking my staple ingredients are probably like ship biscuits and those sorts of things. So I think I'm gonna make like
shitty biscuits,
like individual filled like pot pies.
Ooh, okay, I like that.
Sort of a large empanada kind of a vibe.
Do you partake in the moonshine when you're done cooking?
Yes.
Yeah. They are grateful. They are. I think this is like an uproarious night for you folks. You enjoy yourselves. The miners are pleased to be alive and happy to be free.
Finally.
I think that one of them even brings your crew at some point when the drinks have been rolling around. They bring you like a fistful chunk size of like. It looks like silver dust compacted together. Looks fragile, but he brings it over and hands it to you folks. He's like, it's not a lot, but here's for saving my life. And he hands you a chunk of Irinia.
What's the value on that?
I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head yet. I'm gonna figure out exactly what it does. It might like
value, like in terms of like. Is this a good, like a
yes,
really cool thing we just got? Or?
Yeah. So like, it's already a high. It is a high value material. You guys are aware that it's high value. I don't necessarily know what that means for us as games yet or playing games yet, but yeah. A very specifically mined material requires the right ingredients, requires the right tools and skills. So you're handed like a fistful sized chunk of this Irinia. The night goes on, and at some point, halfway through the night, one of the miners is like, "That was a fantastic biscuit. That little Popeye biscuit you made? What'd you throw in there?"
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Those are staple ingredients on that bad boy. I'd like to try to make this for me and my crew.
It's mostly things you can find around your ship. Meat substitute.
We got tons of meat substitute down here.
Crushed spaceship biscuit.
Gotta love a crushed spaceship biscuit.
And the gorgeous, delicious mushrooms growing locally here.
And there's
sourced and treated by yours truly.
There is a wave of silence that washes over the room, and he says, "I'm sorry, you fed us what? Did you go out into the mines and pick a bunch of those little green mushrooms growing in the small rooms and the cracks in the walls?"
I'm a defy danger.
Give me defy danger charisma.
For sure.
I'm a defy danger.
9.
Can I try to assist by saying
not.
that's not what they were doing down in the mine?
Yeah, you could give an aid to this.
Great, I would love to.
They do feel positively about me.
Boxcars, baby, that's a 12.
Gives +1 to Gabe without opening yourself to danger.
Hey,
so what do you say?
I say I absolutely did not. These are grown in our ship's fungus garden.
But you said I could find them down here.
Well, yeah, because we brought them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's
You
really
can
the
find
only.
them down here right now because I have them.
Yeah, I mean, you won't be able to find them once we leave. But I mean, if you want some, we could trade you some.
He seems to calm down a little bit when you tell him it was the mushrooms grown on your ship. And
then I use our friendship cant to say to Cookie, "We need to get out of here."
Cookie, you see he has like this.
Use the friendship can't say like yes, like yesterday.
He has like a pimple on his nose, and this pimple, you see it like bulb up a little bit, and then you see it kind of unfold from the skin. It's like a little mushroom cap kind of hanging out on his nose. He doesn't seem to feel it. He doesn't seem to feel it, but
Time to leave.
time to leave.
Well, anyway, I gotta go spend these hot credits.
It
Thanks,
has been
gang.
lovely.
You guys have a good
meeting
one.
you and your mind. Run away.
You all dip as they start to mushroom up. And you head out with your chunk of Arinia. The ship takes off, the autopilot is programmed, and your ship jets off into the atmosphere and into space, leaving the mushroom miners behind you. The trip through space is pretty uneventful. You are all coming down from your first battle as a team. Cookie is, treating some like bruises and some like minor like concussive wounds, and your ship pulls back into the minefield surrounding the delta, and you return into the cargo bay. You return to Captain Rake, who is in the bridge at his Taskmaster HQ table, and approach and hand him the delivery form signed both Chutch and we'll say the other guy's
It's just
name.
100% just like crossed out with like pen.
Yeah, it's
Space
like
pen.
two crosses going across it, so like you could still read Chutch very clearly under it, but
100%.
right above that, we're gonna say his name was Unique. Unique, sign that right, kind of above Chutch's name, but much smaller. You have to like look for Unique signature. And Rake looks at you quizzically, and he's like, "Who's Chutch?"
Yeah.
He turned out to be a pirate, but we drove him off. Thus, his name is crossed out.
You guys had a pirate
And we
sign
saved
for the
the-
goods?
He was pretending to be a miner. In our defense, he was very dirty.
It was part of our ruse.
Huh.
He never saw it coming.
As long as I see that you got Unique signature here. That's the one we were looking for anyway. So he slides you each we're gonna say that it pretty much all comes on singular like token bits, but it is a token worth the 30 credits. There was like one show I saw one time that was a really cool money system where you just had like a hunk, and every time you were given money, it like latched onto the hunk, and so you could like pull your money off of your hunk. So we're gonna go off something like that. It's just like a credit chip that you can like, if you add more credits on top of it, they'll just sort of like phase together.
Stay away from my credit hunk.
This is my credit hunk. Rake says that there aren't any missions at this exact moment, but he'll pull a few together for you.
Thanks, Captain. Did we do good, do you think?
It sounds like you did a great job. Once we get our, post report back from the mines, we'll know exactly how well you guys did. But having delivered it, you got Unique signature. I can't imagine that you did too bad.
Oh yeah. Thanks, Dad. Captain.
I discovered I could drink things.
Dad. Well, that is a discovery. And you folks return to your quarters. Upon
Did you taste it, BBW, or did you just drink it?
That's true.
Yeah, just drink it.
You just drank it.
Yeah.
Do you have the ability to taste?
I don't think I do.
Okay. So no like taste receptors, but you wanna keep
no
trying.
taste receptors. Simply just I know that I'm drinking something or eating something.
Yeah, absolutely. And lastly, we should do session closer such. There's 3 ways to earn experience here at the end of a session. One is with these questions. 2 is with bonds, and the third one that I think I forgot to mention the very first time is if you are able to satisfy your alignment requirement. All of you have an alignment, and then there's like a little tiny,
Definitely
maybe
not.
3-word sentence underneath of that is like what you can do to do it. So, for example, of cookies is feed those in need, and Cookie did that. So Cookie gets 1 experience
Those who need
for
to be
feeding
punished.
someone in need. Did anyone else fulfill their alignment requirement?
I think mine was supposed to be, or it is, help those regardless of something. I helped Cookie when they were in danger.
Let's see what it is. Use machines to help those with no expectation of rewards. I would say that you got that too. You did not expect a reward from Cookie when you healed Cookie. You just went to heal a friend. So I would say that.
Did we? Would you say I infiltrated an area? Because Chutch didn't know that I knew that he knew I knew.
Infiltrate an area. No, I think you followed
Or
Chutch in.
avoid detection.
You just sort of walked. You were gonna walk right behind Chutch the whole way in, and then Carl, defend those weaker than you.
I saved miners.
You did,
And me.
you did. You saved miners
I
and
saved the miners.
and
What else turned around?
that's true. Lit. Okay, and then
That's
so
one
that's
experience, right?
yeah, +1 for alignment. Then bonds. We'll start with BBW. BBW, are there any bonds that you can satisfy?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right.
That looks like
Carl, are there any bonds that you can check off?
I don't think so. Not yet.
Would you say BBC had my back when things went wrong?
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
because that's not a character.
that's not a character. I would say so. I mean, you hid behind the door and then you watched, BBW like station up on the ceiling, like prepared to go into battle with you.
I took a couple things.
Yeah. So whenever I
Sure,
would
I'll
say,
take an XP.
yeah. So now with that bond, you'll have to come up with a way that it is either it rests now, maybe the way that your new relationship rests with BBW, or it can be something entirely new. You can just like, now I want to focus on my relationship with this person, or Chutch. I had a bond with Chutch, and I want to meet him again. Whatever that is.
I'm gonna take Chutch hostage again.
So we'll replace that by next time, and then Cookie. Any bonds?
I know a robot can drink. Would that?
Can the robot eat? I must know.
I feel like that. I learned the robot can drink but cannot taste.
I would say that's a start on the path to that. I would say that bond could even change to like I've learned the robot can drink, and that feels like a step along the way. I must now know like I need to now test food.
So would that be? Could I get an experience from that?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll have to change the wording in some way to reflect you,
Mhm.
receiving an experience on that. Okay, and now on to questions. We will continue with Cookie since we were on Cookie last. First, did you learn something new and important about the world?
No.
Let's say you learned to ask the locals about their local fauna before feeding it to them.
Did I though?
Did I though? Okay, I guess not. Carl, did you learn anything new or important?
Not particularly. Not from this mission.
Yeah.
Don't trust bandits.
BBW, did you learn anything new or important?
About the world? No. But I can taste things. I mean, I can eat
You
things. Sorry,
can't
drink.
taste, but you can drink. I think that is something. I mean, the world isn't necessarily like our physical space, but it's like did you learn something new about your place in this existence? And I think that you did. You learned that you can taste, or you can't taste, but you can drink without dying. Slippy, did Slippy learn anything new or important?
Not a damn thing.
Not a damn thing. Did Slippy overcome a notable monster or enemy?
Are knees enemies?
I would say that just like the enemy crew in general, all of you probably get an experience point for overcoming that as a team.
I will say you're right. They didn't stand a chance.
Did your team loot a memorable treasure?
Yes.
Yes. So everyone
Kneecaps.
marks 2 at least from these last 2 questions, and if you learn something new or important, you mark a 3rd one.
Level up.
Level up.
Yeah, that's 8 for me, so that's my level. Level up.
Lord, I'm still at 3.
Gabe has.
I need to start failing some rolls.
Yeah, Gabe's failed a handful of rolls.
Yeah, I need to start failing some rolls.
This went absurdly smoothly. There was like a fail and like 2 minor successes, and then like 10 overt no fail successes. That was
They
incredible.
did not stand a chance.
They did
Compared
not.
to how I usually roll, I'm taking what I can get.
It's good. It's good because it's like a lot of this is like I don't make a lot of moves. I just sort of set the event, and like the enemies basically most of the time, unlike in Gabe's case, like won't really attack unless it's like in response to something, or in this case it was like me making a hard move to trigger the next event. But things like that, like if you keep smashing shit out with 10 to 14 pluses like you guys were doing, then the enemies just don't get a chance to.
No, I want to get cool moves. I
Awesome.
have to do uncool things to do cool things.